Hello everyone, I'm Gerardo Ezequiel, originally from the Canary Islands, a place normally overlooked in the maps. If you don't know where it is, in the corner. It's normally hidden in the maps, but it's just there. So as Helen said, I'm a full-stack spatial data scientist, working for TJX, a retail company that have presence in several countries across Europe, UK, Ireland, Germany, Poland, Austria, and Netherlands, and we are also planning to open stores soon in Spain. So today, I'm going to explain how it helped TJX transforming the stack from a legacy desktop-based workflow to a more geospatial cloud-native one. And we will see how is that important. So why geospatial is important for retail? Because roughly 80% of the corporate data have a hidden geospatial component that we need to unlock. And also, human behavior is divided by geography. There is like the famous Topler's first law of geography that says that near things are more related than distant things, and that's really important for retail. Proximity matters for retail. We can see like how footfall flows to the most near attractive store. Sites placed close to each other cannibalize, so they steal sales, and how hyper-local campaigns, marketing campaigns, can maximize the return of investment. My role serves as a bridge between two teams, the property team and the customer analytics one, that is seated under the market department. For the property team, I help them find the best locations to open new stores across Europe. In order to do so, we also do catchment analysis. So that means understand how far customers are willing to travel to our stores, and also, of course, try to avoid cannibalization. And for the marketing team, the tasks are kind of broad, but in short, we do like customer segmentation, geo-targeting, and campaign optimization. I joined TJX 1.5 years ago, and before, my role was just seated under the property team and really silo. And now, as I said, I'm working as a bridge, helping both teams and bringing the insights from one team, marketing, to property, and the other way around. So TJX Europe, as I said, we have a presence across whole Europe. We have around 700 stores across Europe, and we serve around 50 million active users, and we process around hundreds of transactions every year. So, as you can see, all these data have a geospatial component. Stores, customers, and transactions happen in space. And this amount of data needs to be analyzed in a fast, efficient way. And that's why we use several data sets to answer this question. I'm pretty sure you've been in a store and they've asked for your postcode. So with this information, along with the postcode capture, we can process billions of records of a pair of origin destination. Every card has a postcode associated, your home address. And when you use it, you also have the destination. With all this information, we can derive catchment, how far customers are willing to travel to our stores. In order to understand the gravity, the attractiveness of new store openings, we are also using gravity models and enriching these catchments with postcode market data to understand purchasing power, affluence, etc., etc. So this is the way we've been working before. For almost 10 years, the property team has been using the same workflow over and over. So we get all this data, we store it in OneDrive, and then we use a MapInfo, a proprietary GIS software, in order to analyze, understand the catchments. With this information, then we need to create reports for the property team. And in order to do so, what we were doing before is doing a screenshot of maps, paste it in a PowerPoint. How we calculate the sociodemographics? Copy a list of postcodes, paste it in an Excel that is linked with many lookups to different data files across all the OneDrive. A mess, a total mess, a really manual, slow process. And then this information was sent over to in this case, the business user, acquisition managers, but also decision makers. And this process was going over and over. If they didn't like the output of the process, we needed to start again from scratch. Boring, slow, not scalable, not reproducible. This analysis from a problem, so a location provided by the acquisition managers. The acquisition managers work with landlords to find the best places to open a new stores, and they provide this information to me. Takes around 2 weeks, if not more, to provide insights, so it's really slow. As I said before, the process is really manual, boring, error-prone, and also the data and tools are really fragmented. I'm the only geospatial expert at the company, and many of these data and tools were living in my local computer. That means that many of the insights were not shared with the broader team. And of course, the analysis was not scalable. We were many times just working with one location at a time. And in this year and a half, we are changing, and we are proposing a new more modern cloud-native geospatial stack. We've acquired more advanced data sources. We all know garbage in, garbage out when we are doing models. So now we have high-resolution granular data. I will explain that later. We are creating more advanced AI models, customer clustering, regression, etc., etc. And all of this is happening in Snowflake, our cloud warehouse. And using CARTO, that of course sits on top of our cloud infrastructure, we can create interactive visualizations. The new datasets we are using, now we are using experience oceanographic. It's a high-resolution affluence segmentation that helps us understand affluence at a really granular level. We are also using transactional market data. It's just transactional data that help us find the best opportunities and assess cannibalization, but more important, help us analyze the market share so we can see how we are performing against our competitors. We are using this data set, for example, by using spatio-temporal hotspots, so we can see how sales change in space and time and compare ourselves with the competitors. We have also competitor data, so we can actually understand not only the distance, but also the impact that competitors have on our sales. And recently, we have started using mobility data to understand where and when customers move. Big diagram looks like a bit difficult to understand, but it's really simple. So we get all this data I already mentioned, and we ingest it into our Snowflake warehouse by using different Jupyter notebooks and a Snowpark. So we ingest the data, we process it, and we create feature engineer that then runs, help us create models that also live in our Snowflake environment. This data is also serving data scientists and data engineers to feed their models and their analysis. And with this analysis-ready data, now lives in Snowflake. Snowflake is our single source of truth. If before we have the data in different data folders in OneDrive, now it's living in one place and everybody have access to it. We still need to run some analysis in our local computers, and we've changed map info for QGIS. And because we want to have, as I said, all the data in our Snowflake instance, now we are using the CARTO QGIS plugin that help us have our local desktop software sync bidirectionally with the Snowflake. And we've developed also a plugin that help us automate the catchment analysis, but also the PDF generation. So what before was taking 2 weeks, now takes 15, 20, 30 minutes, if not less. As I said, we create the catchments, but we can also provide the PDF reports. And because our data is synced with our warehouse, this data now also can be sent to CARTO Builder, so we can create ad hoc dashboards for the property team, for the marketing team, trying to solve one question at a time. And now we are also in the process to create a bespoke CARTO for React dashboard that is going to help both the property team and the marketing team to get better insights and to be able to play and operate with the data themselves. So comparison of the process. Before, the process was really slow and painful, and now it's really fast. If before took over 2 weeks or more, now it's taking less than 1 day to deliver the insights the business users and decision makers need. The process was before manual, now it's semi-automated. Before, the data and tools were fragmented. We are living in the desktop computer of the analyst. Now, everything is integrated and accessible. Before, the analysis was non-reproducible. It was clicky-clacky in the quantum GIS, in Excel, and if something went wrong, nobody knew why and how to fix it. Now, because all our analysis is well scripted and documented, everybody can know how the analysis was performed. As I said, before we were working one single location at a time. Now we can just run portfolio-wide analysis. Country-wide, we can analyze white space, run spatial optimization algorithms, and because we've automated and fastened the process, now we can allocate the time not to do manual tasks, but to actually do modeling, machine learning, deep learning. But of course, if we don't have the data on place and the tools to provide insights, we are consuming all the time just doing this really manual process. So now, what if the Royal Geographic Society, the place where we are now located, could become our next store? Let's try to help the property team and the marketing team to optimize a campaign. So on the left-hand side, you can see the typical map I could provide to the property team is a catchment. The core catchment is the orange, and the yellow is the secondary. 50% of our customers, 80% the secondary, as you can see here in the legend. And on the right-hand side, you can see here in the widget, different contextual information, number of sales by type, the shopping population, the purchasing power. And on the right-hand side, this is the map that is also now helping the marketing team to take their decision. We can see the experience demographic that tells the affluence. Yellow being the more affluent and purple the less. We translate these socio-demographic groups into consideration. Not all the groups want to buy from us. So now we know who have high consideration. Actually, where we are located, 87% could consider us. And here, on the left-hand side, on the property, we can see the retail footprints. So where, in this case, the Royal Geographic Society sits as a retail unit. And as you can see, this was a map that was done in 2 hours for the presentation. It's a dummy presentation. I cannot share business confidential data. But that means in a short span of time, we can provide insights in a really fast, scalable way. So key takeaways. Location is a strategy. Location should power decision making. Before, we were doing that, but it was really slow, was not scalable, it was not reproducible. And now our data live in a warehouse. Data, models, and the data is not only powering the analysis I'm providing for the property and the marketing team, it's also accessible for them. As I said, data engineers and data scientists can use feature engineering to enrich their models. Data analysts can now also use either the insights or outputs, but also the data to enrich their analysis. And the process now is semi-automated. The insights run on autopilot. With a script, everything that could be automated is now automated, helping and fastening the process. And more important, end-to-end ownership. We are able now to own the whole process from data acquisition, manipulation, modeling, visualization. We understand the data behind our analysis, but also the tooling. And the process now takes hours, not weeks, helping accelerate insight to action. So, any questions?